Hi everyone, it is Thursday today, so that means Orchard Day. And after all that snow we got, we had the big meltdown today, so it's going to be a high of plus 8 degrees Celsius. It's kind of rainy and foggy, nice and warm out. The larch forest is milking these fall colors for as long as it can. They're falling off fast and furious now. So I don't think it'll be too much longer before they're all gone. It's warm enough today that I could get the tropical trees outside and put them on the bench. I might do that. If I get time, I'll do that. You can really see the fall colors of the thujas here. That kind of bronzy green color, olive green color. Yeah, definitely in their fall colors now. Even my large cathedral style has got the fall colors now. My ginkgo is totally bare now. It's got a really nice root base on this tree. I think it's going to look fantastic in the future. So next year I will have to prune off all these lower branches. I'm just trying to develop the 1 leader. I don't want it a short, fat looking tree. I want to develop a tall leader and develop it into more of a tree you'd see in nature rather than, you know, a contrived bonsai tree. My bayberry or my wax myrtle really took a hit from the weight of the snow. They're all kind of bent down. But I'm sure they'll spring back up. There's a bear in there somewhere, right there. My bald cypress, the branches are also kind of bent down from the weight of the snow. Just a little bit. It's getting nice fall colors. So this bald cypress, the wax myrtles, the ginkgo, what else is sort of not quite as hardy as some of my other trees. The elms, the Chinese elms, probably the Douglas firs over there. What else? That might be about it. Oh, the black pine here. That one. They're not quite as hardy as some of the other trees, so they'll be coming in early. Probably my willow maybe too, my maple. Yeah, they'll come in before some of the ones like the thujas and the pines. Yeah, these less hardy trees, I don't want them to see temperatures kind of below minus maybe 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. They can come in before that. My hardy trees like the thujas and the pines, I generally bring them in when it starts to get below about minus 15 Celsius, sometimes minus 18, that kind of temperature range. So when it starts to get really, really cold outside, they come down in the basement for a couple of months, usually January, February, and half of March, and then they come back out in the benches when that really cold temperatures go away. The tropicals are still doing well in the greenhouse with that insulated tarp on top. I never thought they'd be out this late in the year, but until I get that plant room done, this will be their home. It rained all day yesterday, so I worked indoors on the plant room. I'm hoping once it dries up, I can finish the soffits. I'm coming down in the basement now to turn the lights on for the day, for the tropicals down here. So here I go. Let there be light. Wow. So I've got a lot of my tropical trees in here. They're just all crowded in here. So I could put some of these outside today. Give them some nice rain and sunshine and, well, not sunshine, but, you know, natural light. So I'll try and get some of these tropicals outside on the bench today while it's warm. Every day they get to go outside, I think it just helps rejuvenate them. It's another day closer to spring where they stay in really good health. They just seem to love that outdoor lighting and wind and rain, and all the natural forces of nature just seem to keep the bugs away, and it keeps the vigor in the tree. Yeah, they really seem to like it. I'm off to the orchard now. We're going to wrap the cedars to their stakes, do a bit more mulching, and possibly move some trees. I'm out at the community orchards now. A beautiful foggy day. We're just getting set up to do some work. Here comes Neil on his bicycle. Good to see people cycling here. Today we're going to get the cedars tied up to their stakes so they don't get battered by the wind this winter. We've got that pile of wood chips out there still to disperse. And if we get time, we're going to move some trees. I'll show you the rows here. When we initially laid this row out, we staggered the rows. So we had some closer to our laneway here and some closer to the fence. And then the city said we need more space between the fence and our row here to get the big mower in. So they want us to move this row closest to the fence out to the outer row here, and then they can get their big, I think it's a 10 or 11 foot wide mower through here. And then any trees we have left over, we can plant them along the laneway over there or in the spiral orchard. Everyone is hard at work moving a tree each, so that'll be 4 trees moved today. And we're about a third of the way down the row, so it's not too bad. Some of the trees are fairly loose. Like this one is not that bad, but some of them are quite anchored into the ground. You can see the one Lucas is working on here. It doesn't really budge much at all. So that's really firmly established. So these trees have been in the ground for 2 years. So they should be young enough that they transplant okay to the new location. I guess we'll find out next spring. We have finished the work in the community orchard for today. So you can see we got quite a bit of the secondary row moved, creating just the single line of trees here, and we put them, some of them in the spiral orchard out there, and some will go along the laneway that connects all the different areas of the property up. The spiral got extended a little more today, so it's looking really nice. It's getting quite large. So we've got to leave a laneway here for the trucks to get in for wood chips and maintenance and hauling stuff and lawnmowers and all that kind of stuff. So we still have a bit of room to expand the spiral orchard, but it's getting close to its full capacity. Here's a view of the service entrance. It comes from the street, and we come over here. There's our row of trees, and here's our laneway that we can access. You know, trucks can drive down here to the other entrance down by the arena. And then we have another service road that runs along the fence line here that connects this part of the property up to the edible forest and the community gardens. And then we're leaving one row, an access lane to the middle of the spiral orchard, so you can drive a truck in there and, you know, dump wood chips or whatever. We really mulched the trees in heavily after we planted them, so they keep nice and warm, the roots, over the winter. Someday I'll have to count how many trees we've planted on this site so far. I think it'll be quite a few, probably close to 200 maybe. I did remember to pick some kale for lunch today too. That's all for today from the community orchard, edible forest and community gardens, and First Nations garden. So back home now. It is Friday, November the 27th today. So I'm working on the plant room again. I got my little heater going in here. I don't know if I showed you before, but I've got my pieces cut to make my little attic up there. It's all foamed up, so the next step will be to cut this long board here to fit between the room here, and then mount it up there so it's horizontal at the right height. So it'll be a little tricky laying all that out, but we'll get there. But today, I'm not working indoors actually. I'm working outside. Let's head outside now. Here we are outside. So I'm working on the soffit up here. So I'm adding a strip down here so my soffit will be parallel with the ground. So it won't be on an angle up, it'll be parallel. So here's the pieces I've cut for that. You can see they have the 11-degree angle on them that matches the angle of the roof joists up there. So that'll tuck up under there, and then my plywood soffit will go on top of that. And it'll be open each end with a screen to vent the whole roof. I had the tar out to do those new pieces, to coat those. I also finished coating underneath the fascia there, and I got this part all ready to put the soffit in. I had to take out some styrofoam there and a whole bunch of nails and just get the whole area ready. So yeah, I think it's, once they dry a bit, they'll never fully dry because it's quite cold out today. It's I think the high is like 5 degrees Celsius. Not real warm, but okay, I'll take it. It's not snowing or raining. So once they dry a bit, I'll get ready to put them all up there. They're all pre-drilled, so I can just screw it in place up there. And then I'll start fitting the plywood soffit to box the room in. It's getting on in the afternoon now. I've got my strips up there to mount my soffit to, and it went quite well. It wasn't easy getting them up there by myself and making sure they were level, but I did it. They're up there now, screwed in place. And I've cut my one piece of soffit here. It's in the room drying. This plywood was outside, it's a bit wet, so I'm going to let them dry before I put the black tar on them. But yeah, so that's going quite well. I should be able to get the soffit up tomorrow, and then I just have to put a bit of screening in at the ends, and that part of it will be done. I opened the greenhouse up today and watered all the trees inside, and then I tied it all back up, the insulated tarp, and sealed the door with my towel down there and bricks. So yeah, they looked in good shape inside. Some of them needed watering. Others were quite happy the way they were. So yeah, I have to do that every 2 days, open the greenhouse up and just check all the trees for watering. My plan for the larch forest is to get it pruned up before the winter hits. You know, I can see all these long shoots that are really long. So I can prune back. I can see the buds back here. And so I'll prune them to shape, and then we'll see what buds pop out in spring, if we get back budding or what happens. So yeah, that'll be the step. It'll be a pruning in, you know, early winter, and then in spring I'll do bud selection and maybe some further pruning depending on what buds turn green. Here's my piece of soffit in here, and I did a fancy 45-degree angle cut. This will be the face that you see from the outside. I think it'll look better than just having like a square edge come down to meet the fascia board. We'll see anyway. So that's just in here drying. It was a little damp from being outside, so once that's dry, I'll put the black tar on it, screw it up in place, and then cut the next piece. It is November 28th today, and we have a sunny day. I love sunny days. So I'll show you what I'm working on in the plant room today. Today I'm cutting and installing the soffit. So here's my piece that has to be tarred up, and I've got one piece up here already. You can see that screwed up underneath up there. It probably just looks black to you, but it is there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I did this fancy angle cut on the front face of the fascia, a 45-degree angle, and I'm glad I did. It looks really nice up there. It doesn't stick out so much, you don't see the edge. Sort of blends in nicely. I'm hoping to finish putting all the soffit up today, and then I can start on the exterior walls. I'm downstairs in the basement, and a lot of people have been asking, what temperature is it down in the basement here? Because this is a unheated part of the basement. So I brought the thermometer down, and here it is. It is 8.5 degrees Celsius and 81% humidity. So there's a lot of humidity down here, but it's quite cool. Today is, I think, a high of 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. So I took some of my tropical trees outside, and I'll show you those. I've got my tropical trees out here on the bench, and the sun is so low in the sky these days that it just barely peeps above the fence there. So the bench over here stays in shadow most of the day, and only the back edges of this bench stay in the sun. So I've got all my tropical trees positioned at the back here, so they're getting pretty well full sun today. So that should be a nice treat for them to get some nice sunshine. And the temperature is only 3 or 4 degrees lower than it is in the basement. So I think the benefits of getting outside in the sun, and I watered and fertilized them, I think that outweighs, that temperature change. So I think they'll do better out here in the cool afternoon in the sun than they would in the basement in the darkness and the slightly warmer temperature. Tomorrow will be the last day of November, and it might be our last warm day. We've got sunshine today, partly sunny anyway. So I took the cover off the greenhouse to give the plants a little more light. I'll show you what's going on inside. Here I am inside the greenhouse now. Everything's still doing really well. I've got a lot of flowers still coming out of my hibiscus. My bougainvillea is still all in flower, looking really good. I have some new flowers, and that's on my variegated hibiscus back here. And if you look down here, right there, you can see that there's a flower bud forming there and one here also. So that's kind of exciting. That'll be flowering. Connor had his flower, and they're really nice flowers, quite unique. So everything in here is doing really well. I have no complaints. The Sarissa is still flowering here with its purple flowers right here. Yeah, my jade here, this was a cutting from Joey, and I defoliated it when I planted it as a cutting, and look at it now. It has got the most beautiful canopy on it. So, and it's also, if you look down at the trunk here, you can see all the new shoots coming off of the trunk and the branches. So it's doing really well. It's got tons of vigor. My other little jade forest here with the lineness there is doing really well also. So they're liking it out here in the greenhouse. My jade here with the flowers is looking quite spectacular. I've got a lot of the flowers out now. Yeah, amazing. It just looks fantastic. My hibiscus over here has got another flower coming out. So yeah, the flowers are still coming. Just amazing. I looked at the 14-day weather forecast, and this might be the last warm day. We're supposed to get rain and snow, and nothing looks good in the forecast. So I've been putting a real rush on the plant room, getting the outside not done, but weather tight. And then next spring I can take that temporary stuff off and put my final finish on the outside of the room. Let's go have a look at it now. I've got all my soffit up in place. So that's all screwed up there. And I have my insect screens in at the end. So this is the part that vents here. I've got both the hardware cloth and the steel insect screen up there. So nothing will get in there. And down here, I'm covering the front with styrofoam, and this won't be the final finish, but just to get it weather tight for the winter. Instead of having paper walls, I'll have paper and styrofoam walls, which is a step up. On the end here, I've added a piece of styrofoam too to seal that part of it in. So once I finish, the final panel up here, it'll be insulated well enough that it'll get me through the winter, and I can continue working on the outside in spring. Inside the plant room here, every time I add some insulation or do some work on the outside, it makes it warmer inside. So right now it's really nice in here, even though we're not getting full sun. It's sort of indirect sun, but yeah, it's getting sealed up. I did a lot of foaming up top here to seal in all the gaps. I did foaming up here above the door. There was a big gap there. So just making it all sealed up for the winter. Yeah, and I think, I'll have to move the plants in fairly soon. I'm hoping I can set up a table at the front here by the windows and move some of the tropicals in, because, yeah, as I said, the weather report is not looking good. Winter will come, and it'll come in a big way, I think. So, getting there. And then I got to get lights. It just never ends. It'll be a lot of work equipping this room fully. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to putting the drywall up eventually and finishing the room and making it a really nice kind of bonsai studio. And then when I get the big greenhouse built out the back, this will be mainly for, making YouTube videos and that in this room. And then the plants will hopefully stay out for the whole winter in the greenhouse outside. So that'll be it for the exterior for this year. I'm going to take the scaffolding down, get all my tools put away. I've got the heater running on the inside. I'm just doing a test to see how warm the room keeps. I don't have the insulation in the walls yet, and the vapor barrier isn't up, so I can do all that kind of stuff tomorrow, because it is supposed to rain and then turn to snow. And it's a zombie apocalypse once again. Kind of miss that sound. So this brings my exterior construction to a close for the season on the second last day of November. So the rest of the work will be inside now. It's almost the end of the day. I had to go out to Canadian Tire and get some spray foam for, insulating all the gaps. So I got 2 new sprayers that I can use down here for watering the trees. And I got my 2 buckets of water down here. That's at room temperature, so I can water the trees a little more easily using the sprayers. I'll show you what the plant room looks like now outside, because I've moved the scaffolding. Here's a look at the plant room now. Yeah, it looks quite different without the big peak up there. But I think, the lower volume of air inside will really help with the heating. And I'll be able to seal the roof and everything a lot better, because it's a simple design. So yeah, that's what it looks like now. Here's another angle of it from over here. Yeah, so I've got a lot of work to do on the exterior for next spring. And I got to build that big greenhouse. I got a lot of projects on the go. I put the insulated tarp back in the greenhouse. It is supposed to stay above freezing tonight, 1 degree above freezing, but I thought I better put it on and keep them warm, because tomorrow it doesn't warm up much. I think it's a high of 3 degrees above freezing, so it'll help keep a bit more heat in there. So that's all the work for today. It's time to go in and grab some supper and probably go to bed shortly after. It's been a long day, a lot of work, but the exterior is temporarily done. I've got the regular steel wheels on the Micra once again for the winter with the winter tires, and that's still good enough weather to drive the truck, so I might get it out a few more times, I'm hoping. It's the last day of November today, so the cold weather will be coming very soon. I've got the exterior, finished for this year. It's a bit of a mess, but that'll do. It's sealed up. I got the tuck tape that I'm going to put on the seams of my styrofoam here, just to seal it a little better. And I also got some cement blocks today to put under my table. You can see the table just leaning against the wall on the inside here. That is the table I put in the front windows here, and I hold it up with cement blocks. There's no legs on it. So I used a lot of cement blocks for my stairs here, which are not the greatest. Someday I'll get the cement stairs put in there, but I went out and got some more cement blocks today. So I got 12 cement blocks. Here they are here. So they'll go under the table. I'll stack them up too high, so I'll have them in the corners and supporting the middle of the table. Before, I didn't have support in the middle of the table, and it kind of sagged. So I'm hoping that'll fix itself once it's held in the middle also. So the next job is I need to get a water barrel in here, because it's going to freeze soon outside. And those water barrels, they'll freeze right solid in the winter. And was it last year? Maybe the year before, I had one that cracked open. So I'm going to get a water barrel. It'll be in this corner again. That's where I usually put it. That's so when I need to fill it up in winter, I have easy access from the doorway here. I don't have to go all through the room and, fill it way in the back corner. It's right out front here. So that's my next job for today, is to get the water barrel inside the room here, get it filled with water, and then I'll put a top on it so it doesn't get all the construction dust and that in it. And then before I can put the table out front here, I need to finish the roof up here. I need to get the insulation in and the roof panels up, because I can't do it if I have plants underneath. It's too risky. If something drops on it, it'll wreck the tree. So that's my next step, is to get that water barrel in and then finish off the roof with my little attic. I had the truck out today to get the cement blocks, and I'm hoping I'll probably do one more trip to the dump before the snow starts flying, get rid of some of those old car parts and stuff back there. And that will probably be it for the truck for this year. But next year will be fun working on it. I got tons to do on it. Got that new fuel tank, all the parts. I can just work away at it, making it better and better every year. The coldest we've ever got down to here, and it was a record cold, was minus 36 degrees Celsius. And that was cold. I went outside to take some pictures that night, and there was like the water vapor in the air had kind of crystallized, and when it was in front of the streetlights, it gave this sort of diamond effect to the light. It was really neat. And I took pictures, and it was just freezing. If you had any exposed skin, your hands would just get really cold right away. So I went out and took some pictures. I had to take my gloves off to work the camera, and it was cold. But it's very rare we get down to anywhere close to that. Usually it's minus 26 is usually the coldest we get normally. I've got my rain barrel all cleaned out. Took a while. It had a lot of algae on the inside. So that's ready to go in, and I've got my water over here that I can fill it up with. And that'll be another thing done, and it's just in time because it's starting to snow out. Remember yesterday I said I wanted to get the water barrel in because winter was coming? Well, here's the view out the window this morning. Let's open the front door here and check out the snow in this bush out front. Holy. And it's still snowing. That is just happened overnight. It just started snowing lightly when I went to bed. Oh my goodness, I hope the greenhouse is okay. Let's go back and check on it. Wow. That's a lot of snow in one day. It's a good thing I did get the water barrels in, the exterior finished here, because holy, winter came fast and furious today. Wow. I've even got icicles on top of my roof up there. See that? Well, let's go back and check in the greenhouse. The old cedar here is drooping the branches. Let's squeeze under here. I have to bend down to get underneath. There we are. We're in the bonsai zone. Wow. Everything is really covered. Wow. There's the larch forest. There's a mountain of snow on it. The Scots pine's all bent down again. Wow, look at everything. Hard to believe this happened overnight. So the greenhouse looks fine so far. I did add a thermometer on the inside here, that I can see it from the outside here. I just can't read it yet because it's too dark out, but yeah. This is where the greenhouse will go. Let's go deep in the backyard here. Wow, look at this. It's the walnut tree. Well, it looks amazing back here. It's pretty early in the morning. I don't know if the sun has come up yet. There's the larch tree, the oak. Yeah. Wow, it's just amazing. It's so beautiful back here. It's warm too. It's just slightly below freezing. Look at the bushes over here. They look amazing. Yeah, quite a sight. I'll continue the tour around the backyard here. We'll go this way. So this part of the backyard we just leave for nature. It's pretty natural. I've got trails through here. Boy, you can really feel the wind back here. Probably jiggling the camera around a lot. Yeah, so all this is just kind of left for the animals and nature to do its own thing. Look at this. This is amazing. It's just all painted white. Wow. Look at it in there. What a path. I think we'll go this way. Everything looks black and white. There's not much color in the landscape at all. I see the elm is bent over here. I'll have to get around that. There we go. Look at the branches here. That's my hand. Amazing. Just amazing. Sculpted by the wind. And we're back. It is still snowing like crazy out. Wow. Look at the spruce trees here. Just beautiful. The thuya trees here, they look beautiful too. There's some color in the greenhouse. It's the only colorful thing in the entire landscape. Sure stands out. Well, let's go back in the bonsai area and see if we can see any bonsai trees we can identify. There's a maple in there, willow, the Manitoba maples, or box elder maples, the Norway maple, or no, that's a red maple, sorry. Here's my Austrian pine. It's got rather a big hairdo on top here. It's looking much taller than it actually is. I think these are the English oaks here. The Royal Oaks. Wow, what a do on them. Under there is my wax myrtle forest. It's all bent over. Interesting. Here's some thujas, the elms, the small leaf linden. Wow. Here's the thuja forest over here. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, that's pretty cool. Very cool. Yeah, there's the Douglas firs. Wow. That's the thuja forest there, and this is the cathedral style thuja. Wow, well, that is an amazing change in one night. I'll definitely be working indoors today. School is canceled today. I'll show you what the roads look like out here. Cars are buried in snow. I'll have to clean all those off. Well, the roads aren't too bad. You can see there's a dry spot in the middle. It is mid-afternoon now, and I've got the driveway shoveled over here. I'm about to clear the car off. I delivered the papers today, and now we're going to check out a gift from Andrew. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, and he sent me a whole bunch of seeds, some really exotic tree seeds, and he sent me a grow light, so let's go have a look at it. It's mid-afternoon, and I'm in the plant room. I've got the heater running. It's starting to warm up in here. Here's my barrel full of rainwater. It's a 50-gallon barrel, or 189 liters. So there's a lot of water in there, a lot of weight. Good thing I made this floor really strong. So over here, here's my LED grow light that I'll be putting together this afternoon. But first, I'll go outside and I'll show you what I had to do my greenhouse and some of the building over my Porsche. So let's head back outside. I did the sidewalk and the driveway this morning, and of course as soon as you do that, the plow comes by and you can see all the snow chunks on the sidewalk here. Just fills it right in, and the end of the driveway I got to redo that. I never did get the car cleaned off of snow, but I'll get to that too. So let's head back into the backyard now. It has been snowing all morning, and it's still snowing lightly. And it's supposed to continue all day. So my greenhouse was kind of collapsed in at the top. I had to squeeze in through here and get all the snow off the top of the greenhouse here. You can see how it's not round on top. The plastic hoops have kind of deformed a bit, but they'll spring back. Yeah, so there's a lot of snow, a lot of weight on it. Had to slide it all off with the shovel. So that was that. The next job was to clear all the snow off the garage here that has the Porsche 911 underneath. I'll show you the car. It's kind of hidden under junk, but it's in here. So here it is. It's a 1970 Porsche 911S, and years ago, before I bought it, someone modified it to look like I think it was a 84 Carrera. So I'll show you the back of it. It's kind of hard to see it in here with all these bikes in the way, but here it is. So it's a Targa, the roof comes off. Really nice cruising in the summer. It's got the Carrera tail on it here. Yeah, so got the 16-inch wheels on it down there. So it's a pretty nice car. It's got a 2.7 liter 5-speed engine and transmission in it, so that's been updated. It originally came with a 2 liter 4-speed. And yeah, that's the next big restoration project. Is I'm going to pull it out of here in spring, get a place to work on it beside the house there, and I'll put down some gravel or something and start the restoration process on it. And I imagine I'll be doing most of the work on this car myself. I've got an old Cannondale bike frame here that I want to put together too. I got a lot of projects in here. I probably have way too many projects, but I don't know. I'd rather have too much to do than too little to do, I guess, in life. Yeah. So let's head back inside now and let's get this LED light together and test it out. The top of the Toyota Matrix here might give us an idea of how much snow fell, so I'm going to come in with my hand. So there's the level. So the height of my hand. Yeah, it's a lot of snow in one night. I thought I'd better get to the driveway before I do the LED light. And I'll show you the moss out front here. And you'll see just how incredible moss is. Here it is on my sidewalk of plenty. Green as it ever is. It's just amazing that moss stays green all year round out front here. Snow's really heavy. I got this scoop here I use. You slide it into the scoop and then you put it up on top of the mountain there. So lots of fun. Good workout for today. I finished the driveway outside, so now I can get back to putting the grow light together and trying it out. So here we go. This is my first video in the plant room for a long time, so I'll have to do it on the floor here. I've got nothing set up, but it should work okay. So I'll take the grow light out. So there's two panels. These are LED panels. You can see the little LEDs on it, and it's on an aluminum sheet piece of aluminum. So I think they're bonded on, and then the circuits are imprinted on top of the aluminum. So rather a slick design. And there's two of these panels. I've got one separated here just so they don't hit each other. So there's the two panels. So they have to be screwed together. So I'm going to get out both the instructions and the parts that are required. I can put my pins together now. So I'm lining the pins up. I don't know if I've got this in the front. So I'm lining these pins up, pushing them together like that. Except this is over top, should be underneath. There we go. There. Okay, so that's together. It's connected in the middle. Now, what's the next step? Oh boy. So this light is 20 watts. It has a on-off switch here. So let's plug it in, which it plugs in right here, like that. And now I'll plug it into the power outlet. Okay, here I go. I'm going to plug it in. Okay, it's not on. So now I'll turn it on. Here I go. Woo! It looks like Christmas. Look at that, eh? Wow. That is really cool. Okay, so the next step will be to hang it up. I'm down here in the basement now. It's December 1st today, first day of the month. So I'm thinking, I've got the 2 LED shop lights over top of this bench, but I've got nothing over in this side. So I'm thinking of hanging the LED right above my Schefflera and my Sarissa here, which are just crowded in there. So I'll attach an eye hook up here, and then I'll put a wire from the eye hook down a little lower so the light's hanging just above the trees. And that'll give the maximum amount of light to the foliage. So let's get working on that. My first job as a safety precaution will be to move the tree out of the way. I don't like working above the trees just in case you drop a tool or anything could happen. Just fall on the tree and maybe break a branch off or something. So it's best to move the trees out of the way before you're doing any overhead work with lights or anything like that. Next, I've got my Milwaukee drill here. I'll put a little hole up here just to attach the eye hook into. And I'll put it into the old beam so I'm not screwing into the new beam. And about directly above the bench here, right about here. Like that. And now I can screw in an eye hook, which I just happen to have in my pocket here. You want fairly good eye hooks above your trees. You don't want a light ever falling down on top of your tree because, you know, some of the screws, the eye hooks and that, they give you with the LED lights are pretty flimsy. And, you know, there's not a lot of thread on them. To tighten the eye hook, you just need like a screwdriver. And you just stick it through the loop and turn it. That gives you the maximum amount of threads up in the wood as possible. Like that. For my next step, I need to position the light, and then I'll have to run some wire from the hook here up to my eye hook to get the light sitting at approximately the right height. I would say probably about there. I've got some wire that I'll run from the hook down to about here, which is about just below eye height. So I can do that now. Move my LED light away. Let's say somewhere around about here. And I'll just make a hook on the end. Snip it off here. Like that. All right, here's my light. And I'll put the hook through here. Let me see how high it is. That's not a bad height, actually. Okay, so next I'm going to move my tree back in place. Now I did have it sideways. I think I'll keep it sideways. It fits across the drip tray a little better that way. Like that. And this comes over here. I've turned the other lights off, and I'll plug this light in now and turn it on, and we'll see how bright this light is just by itself. So here I go. Wow, look at that. Look at that, eh? It's got its very own LED light. Very cool. And now I'll do the test where I expose the camera for the outdoor light, and then I come back down in the basement and see how this compares. So I'll do that now. I've switched the camera to manual, so I'm just going to adjust the exposure. I would say about there looks normal. I'm looking at the actual building out there versus what's on the back of the screen, and they look about the same. So let's go downstairs now. Let's see, I can see a glow from the LED light. So here it is. So the light is just, you know, not too high above the plant. And you can see just directly under the light is getting good light. and maybe some of the surrounding branches aren't getting as much light. So I might have to raise it up a bit so it gets more of an even light on the plant. I think that would be better, so I'll do that. I've raised the light up now, so you can see the intensity drops off quite a bit, but it's more even overall. So I think that's the better solution. Otherwise, you get really vigorous growth at the very top of the tree and the bottom branches just kind of sit there dormant. So that's the setup with the LED light. So thanks very much, Andrew. That's a wonderful present to get in the mail. Andrew sent me all kinds of cool stuff, so that's just fantastic to get that. So thanks a lot, Andrew. In this week's video, we've gone from almost summer-like temperatures to the deep winter temperatures and snow and cold. And that's all for this video. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me this week in the Bonsai Zone. It's the last day of December, not December. It's the last day of November today. So it is the last day of November today. So we'll be heading into December. God.